problem. I am asking about how you, Fala. What is your biggest problem?
And Auntie Bella, where did you get all this money from?
Mr. Farij, I have my own ways.
Listen.
What do people think if they find us like this?
I really care about you.
What are you hiding?
I come here with all humility.
Oh, please, you and humility.
Mama Felix, I am not addressing you.
Tunasikia?
Humility just left the building and the real Mark is here.
Nimesema utoke uende.
Every mistake you've done was out of love. Why is mine so different?
You've just realized you want to get to this house and now you don't want to miss everything. Sindio?
You are a fool.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Mundos divididos por una sombra de traición.
I already thought of something that will speed things up.
How dare you throw stones at your own family when you yourself had been unfaithful to me for so long? I know everything about
Niece.
You deserve more than that.
But now everything is just falling apart. You're the only one that I have right now.
Swear in front of her grave that you didn't kill her.
Lying heart.
Pues sembrando el veneno y la ambición. Send it in the water, send it with the waves, send it on the tide, send it right away.
Away from badness, away from wrong.
Udugu ni kufa ana, udugu si kufanana.
Money over life, I disagree. Money over life.
My journey, yes, my journey, my journey, my journey. So let me tell you about the life journey. My journey, my journey, my journey.
Break up your folly ground, break up your folly ground, and come and live it up, yeah. Burn, 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 oh. With them I fight before, with them bad minds suffer. Never know say man I wanna draw a 90 soldiers.
Good morning and thank you for joining us on News Check this 15th day of March the year 2022. Of course, the race to the country's general election is still picking and gaining momentum, and we stay on the campaign trail on this particular program this particular morning. We'll be looking at the political developments in our country. I will be joined by two analysts. I will be letting you know who they are in just a bit, but I want us to catch something that is happening this particular morning in Mombasa County as we celebrate celebrate the 2022 World Consumer Rights Day that is happening this particular morning at Pride in Paradise Hotel in Shanzu, Mombasa. Currently speaking, I understand, is the Communications Authority of Kenya's Director General Ezra Chiroba. Let's listen into what he's saying.
All. It must be inclusive. Take, for example, while telecommunications sector has rolled out network coverage of up to 96% of the population, we have less people with smart devices. And by implication, a significant number of our populations are at risk of exclusion. And this Chairman Jamil Telkom mentioned, the lack of devices, in as much as we have a network coverage of up to 96%, we are not able to optimize that because a majority of our people still do not have devices that can maximize that potential. As a result, a lot of our people are still excluded from this particular sector. And that's a challenge that we must be able to address. Thirdly, protection of critical infrastructure is key in ensuring sustainable provision of quality services to citizens. The recent gazettement of what entails critical infrastructure for us as regulatory authority in the sector, I think is a step in the right direction. I know that a lot more needs to be done to ensure that all the infrastructure, be it fiber, towers, data centers, are protected to ensure continuous provision of this particular service, even as we move from the physical to the digital space. Ladies and gentlemen, those three challenges, if you ask me, if we prioritize them in terms of addressing them from a policy perspective, in the next 2 years, we're going to see a lot more unleashing of the ICT potential that we have in this country. Today, we are talking about fair digital finance. And as I mentioned, the role of the Central Bank of Kenya is critical in this particular space. And that's why I'm happy that with the enactment of the Central Bank of Kenya Amendment Act of 2021, which effectively puts digital lenders within the purview of CBK, I think that is a step in the right direction in terms of protecting consumer rights in the digital space. The rapidly evolving and complex nature of digital financial services calls for innovative approaches and consumer-centric digital financial services and products. And that explains why this event, we're here to bring together actors across the industry, both investors and policymakers and consumer representatives, for us to see which way should we move forward as a sector to enhance consumer experiences when it comes to digital financial services. I wish to conclude by assuring you of our continued support in protecting the interest of our people, the interest of all ICT consumers in this particular sector. Ladies and gentlemen, together with, of course, what Chairman Jamil Telkom has talked about, I think I want to say that we are ready to move this country's digital space to the next generation. So we call upon your support, even as we commit to support you. In this regard, I want to take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Patrick Njoroge, the Governor, Central Bank of Kenya, to address us. Let us put our hands together to... He should give us another jig.
All right, that is the Communications Authority of Kenya's Director General Ezra Chiroba, currently speaking. is Fair Digital Finance. Of course, we have there the Central Bank of Kenya, Dr. Patrick Njoroge, of course, the Governor of Central Bank of Kenya, and of course, also among those who are attending this forum is Miss Immaculate Kasait, who is the Data Protection Commissioner. Of course, we will be staying close to that particular story. Michael Mwadiga is attending that forum for us. We'll be updating you in our subsequent news bulletins. But this morning, we're going to be talking about the state of politics in our country, and we are following up quite a number of issues for you, including the big day for the United Democratic Party, UDA. Of course, we are just going to be showing you pictures of what is happening today as they are having their National Delegates Convention happening today at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. We will be looking at, it is in Kasarani. I beg your pardon for that. We have John Jacob Kiria on the ground for you. Later, he will be updating us. But right now, we just want to see pictures of what is happening this morning as delegates are trooping in, and of course expecting quite a number of leaders there. Let's just cross over to Kasarani just to get an update from our team on the ground on what is happening this particular morning.
All right, good morning to you. The National Delegates Conference of the UDA party happening right here at the Kasarani Stadium. In a bit, we expect the arrival of the Deputy President, William Ruto, who is the party leader of the UDA party, and also the presidential candidate of the UDA party and the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Of course, that is yet to happen because the constituent parties of the Kenya Kwanza will have to meet so to endorse the Deputy President formally. But what you can see is the officials of a party already lining up to receive the Deputy President once he comes in, the chairman of the party, Johnson Muthama. And yes, Isaac Ruto, the former governor for Bomet, and the Chama Chakazi, actually is Chama cha Mashinani, CCM, party leader, because Chama Chakazi is led by Moses Kuria. But of course, you can see the officials of the party, Johnson Muthama, the chairman, Veronica Maina, the secretary general, as well as the National Elections Board Chair. That is, we have the National Elections Board, and we also have the head of the presidential campaign, obviously being Josephat Nanok, the governor for Turkana, also there, and the rest of the officials lining up, including those of ANC, because the party is a constituent party in the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Who do we expect here? Obviously, a number of people. I've seen a seat reserved for TSP's Mwangi Kiunjuri, who is the party leader of TSP. I've seen a seat reserved for him, and several other dignitaries and party leaders that are supposed to attend the event. Those are the people who will be formally, or rather joining their peers in UDA to endorse Deputy President William Ruto as a presidential candidate. And obviously this comes just 2 days after, the Deputy President appeared to answer President Uhuru Kenyatta directly, claiming that the president has betrayed him, and the president has been taking him through tribulations for the last 4 years so that he doesn't own up to the promise of yangu kumi, yake kumi. And that is an interesting conversation probably that will feature somewhere in some of the conversations that will happen here today. But as you can see, everything is set ahead of the arrival of the Deputy President, and the delegates are in their numbers. The delegates are in their numbers. Delegates who have already arrived here, so definitely you will be able to see all of them. Right about now, I'm joined by an aspirant under UDA and one of the delegates under UDA. Very quickly, you can tell us your name and what you're doing here.
Yes, my name is Washira Wamboi, or Washira Njima, and I'm here to attend the National Delegate Council.
Okay.
Yes.
What exactly do we expect you as delegates to do today?
So we are going to endorse our presidential candidate, and we are also going to endorse two party wings, that is Women Congress and Youth Congress.
All right.
Yes.
That's quite interesting. When the Deputy President arrives here, and of course you've heard him, answering his opponents and his critiques, The question obviously would be, do you think that will have an effect on, the support of a deputy president in the Mount Kenya region, having seen what the deputy president said on Sunday?
It will have effect across the country, because this is what people have been expecting. This is what people were expecting. You see, if you see around here, people are coming here. They are coming here to listen to what deputy president will say and to listen to that thing he has been speaking all through. This is a meeting to confirm or to reaffirm the commitment to change the economy of this country.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Oshira Njima, a student and delegate under the UDA party, speaking to us this morning. This is just the general preparation around the Kasarani Stadium as officials of the party line up to receive Deputy President William Ruto, who is expected here any minute from now. And obviously we'll be grabbing 1, 2, 3 interviews here as we wait for his arrival. I see the likes of Nelson Havi. He's vying under the UDA party in Westlands, and also leads a conglomerate of lawyers who will say they are defending UDA in court, and also Wakili Edward Mureu, who is vying in Gatanga, and also again here in the capacity of being a lawyer for the United Democratic Alliance, that is UDA, also here. So yeah, that's just the formation around here as we wait for the arrival of Deputy President William Ruto. And of course, the person in charge of the foreign policy and affairs, Babu Namwamba, the immediate former Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, also here, and a towel to receive the Deputy President once he arrives. So just is the arrangement of protocol before the second in command makes his way here, the party leader of the UDA party, who will be endorsed formally today as the presidential candidate of the UDA party. His mantra being Kazi ni Kazi, bottom up. That is the mantra of the UDA party. And delegates continue making their way in here, as well as VIPs, and we'll be able to inform you who is making his way here, because you can see some a bit of rush here. We have the Kirinyaga governor, Anne Waiguru, making her way to the stadium, as well as former Kiambu governor Ferdinand Waitito Babayao, also making his way. These are some of the VIPs we're seeing making their way here to the stadium for this very important event for this party, that is the UDA party. I'm also seeing a member of parliament from Pokot, that is Minister Lomuno Cole. What an interesting event this is, where we see solidarity amongst parties, our constituent parties under Kenya Kwanza, the UDA party, the Ford Kenya party, the ANC party, the Chama Chakazi by Moses Kuria, Kabogo's Tujibebe party, and many other parties. Interestingly, Governor Khaemba of Trans Nzoia is with us here. He's an elected governor through Ford Kenya. I see the governor for Uasin Gishu, Mandago, also here, and the latest entrant into the UDA party, that is the Embu Senator Njero Ndwiga, also amongst delegates here. And now the grand arrival of the party leader of the UDA party and Deputy President William Ruto, making his way to Kasarani, which now means this event is about to start. The National Delegates Conference of a UDA party. Deputy President William Ruto is already in the stadium. And I see the emergence from the car of the spouse of the Deputy President, Her Excellency Amarecho Ruto, and the Deputy President now. There is going to be a commotion, a little bit of it here, because every person wants to get that very important picture as the Deputy President makes his way into this stadium. So this is it. Like I said, there would be a commotion here as the party leader acknowledges greetings from his officials or the officials of the UDA party. It's a big day for him. It's when his party officially unveils him as its presidential candidate. So it's a big day for him and the party. And it's also a big day for the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. This alliance will be headed by the Deputy President. And of course, in a bit we'll also see the arrival of Musalia Mudavadi as well as other principals under the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. So different leaders continue to stream in ahead of this event. And the arrival of a Deputy President is a sign enough that the National Delegates Conference now will be underway in any minute. So we'll be taking you inside the arena for the arrival of the Deputy President.
All right, John Jacob Kuria there for us at the Kasarani Stadium, following up on the United Democratic Alliance National Delegates Conference happening right now. You've seen the arrival of the party leader, Deputy President William Ruto there. We just want to talk a bit about that particular day, and with me in studio I have a panel of three gentlemen. That is, I'll begin from the gentleman on my far left there. He's Dr. Joseph Rotich. He's a political analyst. Thank you so much. All right, we have at the center there Willie Kamau, also a political analyst and governance expert, and we have lawyer Ken Amondi. Thank you, gentlemen, for creating time this morning. I just want to quickly get your, you've seen it, it's UDA's big day or Deputy President William Ruto's big day, whichever way you want to look at it. But what are some of your expectations, gentlemen, this morning? Let me begin with you, Dr. Rotich.
I think today is a big day for His Excellency the Deputy President because, of course, they are not going to tell us a new thing. That is the one main contender of as a presidential candidate for UDA, but they are going to formally announce as a party that this is our man who will actually carry our mantle to the end. And to me, I think this is the beginning of a milestone arrangement and management of our politics until we do the nomination come April maybe 22nd. And in this case, I think it's actually a culmination of the expectations that Kenyans have been longing to see. And I want to say that the big day is today because all the other parties who have been operating sideways. You talk about, we were told that Martha Karua will be around. I don't know how far that one is true. Kuria will be there. I don't know how that one is true. But the expectations and the anticipations of the team that is managing the UDA is that this day is a big day for them. They are going to show up their might politically, and then that will be the beginning of the campaign until the election period. I mean, this is a big day for them. And also you have witnessed that there are so many people who have actually joined up from all parts of the Republic of Kenya. And to me, it is going to be a day to be reckoned with, and a day that the Deputy President will have been energized to go for the presidential seat come the election day.
Well said, Dr. Rotich. You know, I don't know whether this one is going to be what now. We've seen earthquake, we've seen volcano, we've seen tsunami. Now we wait for this one to also see how it's going to take shape. But Willie, what is it that will really interest you as you will be following up the proceedings at Kasarani this morning? What is it that you feel will be a surprise or something that is unique about what is happening this morning?
All right. There's nothing new. The message will remain the same. They will talk about bottom-up. They will talk about Mama Boga. What would catch me by surprise is if they revealed the running mate of William Ruto. especially now that there are a few guys from Mount Kenya who joined him last week from 3 parties. So it is nothing new. What would catch me by surprise maybe is what the message they will speak today, because I feel politics were officially started last week by the president when he said that now gloves off. Anyone who was doubting whether I'm supporting Raila for president, now it is confirmed, it is done deal, we are not turning back. And so now it is up to William Ruto now to put his house in order, because I feel today they will address the president more in their speeches, because he's their biggest stumbling block in their presidential or rather in their race in 2022. And so there's nothing much to expect today apart from the normal. So let's just wait and see. Maybe they bring us the running mate. We know who the running mate is today. Yeah. That is what will surprise us.
You wish. But then again, there's a lot of speculations over who is going to be the chief guest. There is going to be a surprise guest. I don't know why every NDC that has happened this year has always been, very excited about who is going to be the chief guest. But leaving that aside, Mondi, as you also give me your expectations for the day, something that Willie has touched on there that is very crucial concerning, looking at this forum going to be used to sort of address the President Uhuru Kenyatta, bearing in mind what has happened between himself and his Deputy President William Ruto. This platform, according to Willie, at some point is going to be used to address some of these grievances. What do you think about that strategy, though? Because it's all about campaigning for 2022. As far as I understand, President Uhuru Kenyatta is not on the race. So who should be addressed ideally from UDA's side and from the larger Kenya Kwanza Alliance? Who should they be addressing?
Thank you. Let me say that today's event would really be a significant one, particularly in respect to the Deputy President. I think it's important to him because this is the first time that he'll be, presenting himself. He'll be in the ballot as a presidential candidate. Remember, the Deputy President has got this distinction of being a politician, I want to believe, who's never lost an election ever since he entered elective politics. As an MP, he rose to the cabinet. Then there's the aspect of the URP. Ultimately, he joined TNA, and against all expectation, they formed the government. He became the Deputy President. He ran all over the country for the current president, and now he is himself in the ballot. So that I think this would be a crowning moment. We shall now be setting the pace, given that from today's event, he shall be crowned as the person who will be facing the Azimio candidate, Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Of course, as to what you would expect today, there will be the normal politics. We know the Deputy President's campaign clarion call under the economic blueprint simplified as the bottoms up. We would expect that to be the core thing for today. As Willie has said, that the greatest stumbling block, I may not be sure, but to some extent, yes. Remember, the Deputy President's presidential bid right from 2013 was premised on what has been famously described in Kiswahili as tano yangu, kumi yangu, kumi yako. So that it was taken for granted that he would have the backing of, President Uhuru Kenyatta. And we all know such backings, in as much as the president, like we all say, just has one vote. But, it comes with some other things. There's the state, the state machinery. There's, it always counts a lot, particularly, from this part of the world, if the president throws his weight behind some campaign. So that the question would then be, to what extent would the president's support for Prime Minister Raila Odinga impact on his deputy?
All right.
Yes.
And we'll talk about that in just a bit. I want to stay on this particular matter for just a while before we talk about the endorsement and its impact. And I'd also just come back to you, Dr. Rotich. We have just less than about 145 days to the general election. It's less than, let me just say, less than 140 days to the general election. And we know what has transpired between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy. It has been public. We've seen the two gentlemen address this quite a number of times. With these timelines, who should Ruto be addressing if he wants to ascend to power? Is it the president or his main political challenger?
Is that it is His Excellency the President himself who encroaches his hand to the current politics, because His Excellency the President is retiring, and it is in public domain that he is going home, and his interest to have his own interest in the current politics, what has actually changed the whole scenario. That even if you have seen the way the body language of His Excellency the President, he seems like he doesn't know, he's not leaving the scene any time soon.
But that is something
I'm just giving you the body language.
But when
because
did you start
when you look at the way he's talking, the way he's so empathic in his quest for the who will take over after him, actually portrays that he's actually in touch with what he would wish to see after the 2022 election. That's going to happen. But leaving that aside, I can tell you, the person whom the deputy president is addressing is his colleague, who is actually running against him. He is Right Honorable Raila Odinga. He cannot run away. That is why he's been saying, you are Right Honorable Raila, don't hide behind His Excellency the President. We know him. We know what he has done. We know we know that he's retiring. So don't hide behind him. In fact, this question has been, come out openly. Tell Kenyans about your manifesto. You are not going to run on the manifesto of His Excellency the President himself. Run on your manifesto. Tell Kenyans what you need.
Which he did over the weekend. Did that?
So what is there, Nani? I mean, at the moment, already the bad lines have been drawn. And the two gentlemen, I mean the Deputy President and the Right Honorable Raila, have actually hit the ground. They have identified the places of their supports. And I can tell you for sure that the battle now is neck to neck. It's no longer the way we used to see some maybe 6 months back. Right Honorable Raila is made a bull and of his quest, and the support that he has is not the way we used to see in the 6 months back. So what we are actually witnessing today is that the margin of their difference is actually getting, or rather narrowed day by day. And it will depend entirely on how skillful each one of them will battle to the last minute so that they can win. Because what we are now looking at is that who is going to get 50 plus? That is the bottom line.
That is what every contender is looking at. Willie, I want also to hear your thoughts on this. Yes. There is confusion here. There is Deputy President William Ruto, who it's obvious he wants to become the fifth president. Raila Odinga as well. You know, it's obvious. And then there is the president, who is somewhere here.
Yes.
So, as this competition, as this match is being played, the messaging from the Kenya Kwanza side of late has been crafted to target President Uhuru Kenyatta and to, you know, I mean, is this how it should be? What do you think?
Every election comes with its dynamics, and that's why we cannot compare President Uhuru to his predecessors because of the implications that have been there. Who knows? I feel this election, there is a Pandora box that there is a puzzle that has to be unpuzzled to know what really is happening. Because the biggest question thereof, Safe, is why would a sitting president who had promised to William Ruto yake 10 after mine yangu 10 change his mind all of a sudden? If someone is able to unpuzzle that question mark, then we will have the answer. I want to feel that this battle is not necessarily between Uhuru, it's not between Ruto and Raila. It is between Ruto and the president.
But should that be the case? That was my question.
That's where I'm coming.
Yeah.
Why is the president doing so? Why didn't he just retire and take a big risk on supporting someone as opposed to where he would have done like Kibaki, just go home and just retire? Why is he so much passionate about supporting Raila Odinga? I feel that the last 5 years have been the most hectic years for the president in terms of leaving a legacy. Remember, he has been at the helm of the of this country's leadership for the last 10 years. And so the last 5 years were very critical for him to leave an everlasting legacy in this country. And I remember his message was stop early campaigns and come and help me leave behind a legacy. That fell on a dead ear for William Ruto and his cahoots. And so the president at one point got tired of telling them, help me leave a legacy. And then along the way, the president's last term was hit by 2 years of coronavirus, okay? This time around, all alone. All these guys campaigning. The Jubilee team, like 50% of it went with William Ruto to campaign. If today these guys went to market the president's legacy, trust me, the president would retire today a happy man. But he has not received that from his deputy and from his cahoots. And so he feels that...
And I will not allow you to use campaign language.
Okay, cahoot is not a bad word. It's you know, it's like it's the group of people you keep around that really excite you. It is not a bad word, sir. So let me finish my point. And so for president, he feels that I have weathered through the most difficult time of this nation alone, and I feel I have to. I feel he is at liberty and he's allowed to direct the politics of this nation where he needs to go. And I also feel that supporting Raila is the best decision he ever made, because it was not an easy decision for him to go against his word of saying, I have promised you my 10 years and I will. The question thereof is, what if the president today did not support Raila and supported William Ruto? What would they be saying? Would they be happy about it, that the president is supporting them? Or would they be mad and telling, no, president, stop supporting us. You just go home. We will hack. We will beat Raila.
So it depends who it depends and I know Dr. Rotich has a lot to say with regard to what you've said. But I don't know. I'll allow you to respond to Willie in a bit. I want us to go to where Willie has taken us. That endorsement, that support, that, pat on the back, giving Raila the blessing that you're the man from the president. Let's just get to hear what the president said over the weekend and what also characterized the Jacaranda rally. Let's get that clip now.
Ya kwamba njia ya kutembea kwa Kenya mpya ni tutembee pamoja. Leo imekuwa siku ya kuanzisha safari ambayo itatimika mwezi wa 8 mwaka huu.
Mimi nilikuwa nikidhani Raila atasema safari hii Kalonzo tosha. Lakini sikiza, kwa roho safi, wa Kenya nasema Raila Odinga tosha mara ya 3.
Sio ya kwamba hangeweza, anaweza, lakini akasema hatakuwa moja ya kugawanya wa Kenya, anataka tutembee pamoja. Nimehakikishia kwamba mimi sitawaangusha chini. Hii kijiti mtabeba kwa ushujaa, nitakimbia naye na nitaleta ushindi nyumbani.
All right, so that was the politics that shaped the weekend. You've heard there from President Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and of course we will be reacting to some of those remarks when we come back from this short break. Do stay with us.
Kujisumbua na tangawizi ambayo haitakufaa na lolote.
Nakuwa unapata sauti yako Sasa utanisikiza au?
Korogwe na watu.
Ukisema watu unamaanisha nini?
Uko sawa wakili? Nimeshakuona Keti amekuingiza box.
Hivyo naweza kugundua kwamba huyu mtoto anaweza kuwa wetu. Mimi na wewe.
To get Romans chapter 10 as your skiza tune on your phone,
dial star 811 star 962 hash.
If you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Romans chapter 10 verse 9.
To get Romans chapter 10, dial star 811 star 962 hash. Star 811 star 962 hash.
You think I'm taking it well that she said no? You think I'm happy now? No!
Mom!
This isn't true! You're lying!
Jesus, say something. Has anyone here seen Pinky?
I looked everywhere, but I found nothing.
You file a report for a missing person. In situations like this, odds are your sister's no longer alive.
I'm afraid Pinky might have killed herself.
Shannon! Shannon!
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. On News Check this morning, we are on the road to the 2022 general election as we look at some of the political developments in the country. This morning, the United Democratic Alliance Party is having their National Delegates Conference at Kasarani Stadium. We have our team on the ground following up that for us. We'll be linking up with them as soon as we get a chance to know what is happening. But of course, also we are talking about other issues that have characterized the campaign trail, including the weekend politics that saw President Uhuru Kenyatta once again endorse ODM leader Raila Odinga as his preferred successor, something that has elicited quite a number of reactions from not just political pundits but also Kenyans at large. And I have quite a number of able minds, politicians and political analysts in studio with me just to unpack some of these issues. I'll just take you through who they are. In case you're just joining us, I'm having just sitting right next to me is lawyer Ken Amondi. At the center there, we have Willie Kamau, is a political analyst, and of course, Dr. Joseph Rotich, also a political analyst. So before we took a break, we had gone to Jacaranda, just a playback of what really happened. And I don't know why I want Dr. Rotich
I think
to say something about
to be very honest,
that endorsement.
The endorsement of His Excellency the President to Right Honorable Raila Odinga as is after him, I think it is something that was least expected by Kenyans. And it is not only by Kenyans, but all over the world, because nowhere has ever happened that you propose somebody who has been in the opposition, somebody whom we have actually fought with, to be your next proposed to be the next president of the republic itself.
There was the handshake in between.
Then the handshake itself. One thing that we must ask ourselves. One thing that we must ask ourselves. What His Excellency the President did was the best thing that Kenyans have ever witnessed by bringing Raila on board as in form of a handshake, because there was nothing we could do as a country when in a very chaotic environment that we witness as Kenyans. And the handshake itself, of course, came with the baggage which was only known by His Excellency the President and Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And you can remember, immediately after the handshake, His Excellency the Deputy President was very skeptical about some of the undernotes which were witnessed, because according to the open discussion that was said, is that he was going to bring Kenyans together. But as things unfolded, you witness that His Excellency the Deputy President was sidelined in most of the things, meaning that the whole thing was not actually building bridges initiative. It was just a plan for the 2022, which has actually opened up very clearly.
So as you continue, in your opinion, President Uhuru Kenyatta should not have endorsed Raila Odinga as his preferred successor?
In my own opinion, you can remember it was through His Excellency the President whom he told the Deputy President, you will support me, I'll go for 10 years and then you ask for 10 years. Based on that, when did he change the mind and endorse Raila, Right Honorable Raila? So the whole thing, of course it was in his prerogative right to choose whoever he was, but according to the promise that he openly told Kenyans, that this thing, that thing is what has haunted him up to today.
All right. I'll come back to you because I know you have a lot to say, Willie. But let me also just bring Ken into this particular conversation. Ken, there's been concern about President Uhuru Kenyatta being part of his succession politics. What are the stakes should he be part of this journey, and can we separate him from the presidency and give him his right of, his democratic right of having a say politically speaking? I mean, there's a bit of confusion there. What is it that you advise President Uhuru Kenyatta to do if you're in a position to do that?
I think that first, it's not strange for a president to be involved in a sitting president to be involved in a presidential campaign where he is expected to be leaving office, and it's a worldwide issue. I mean, you can recall when President Barack Obama was leaving office, he campaigned openly for his then preferred candidate Hillary. Of course, Hillary flopped, but again, when Biden was given the ticket, Obama and family came out as though it was his own election. But I mean, it was not for nothing. Obama said that the destiny of the nation is at stake. There is where we want America to go, and from where I sit, I believe these are the persons who shall move us to that direction. So that in the case of President Uhuru Kenyatta, and to be fair to him, I think both my colleagues have somehow explained, given the history, and particularly Willie. The president, right from 2017, I mean, when you are taking your second term, what boggles your mind so much? Because in the end of the day, it is you, Uhuru Kenyatta, the person.
That's true.
It's about the legacy that you leave. Let's face it, one day, one time, a child of Uhuru might want to be president. It shall be pegged on what his father did in office.
True.
So that you find a president who then calls the Jubilee coalition party to a meeting. And he tells them that, look, I'm now keen on, consolidating my legacy. And what I ask you is, we suspend politics, and at the right time, we shall back my deputy. I mean, if I'm wrong, I stand to be corrected.
How does he?
Of course, there is then the question of the handshake. And like Daktari has correctly indicated, for Uhuru's legacy to be safeguarded, for his so-called major infrastructure projects to be really in place, that could not have happened in the context of the chaos that witnessed the 2017 presidential election. So that it was key that he had to reach some understanding with Raila Odinga. So that then when the president sees a direct contravention of, his motive to safeguard his legacy, and I think he came out clearly to explain the same in Sagana. And he has said that I think if you listen to the president's, if you interrogate the president's speech keenly, I can point out two issues. Why he says, I prefer Raila Odinga to William Ruto. Other than that open disobedience, there is the question of the legacy projects. I mean, a continuation of the running of the economy from where Mwai Kibaki left it to what Uhuru Kenyatta has done, so that then he would want a president who would safeguard the same for the next 5 or 10 years. Then there is the question, and he pointed at that heavily, the question of corruption, which I think is key, because in the end of the day, looking at this country keenly, whatever you say, whatever you promise, I think the thing that we need to kill for us to move forward as a country, to realize actual economic gain is corruption. And from where he sits, you know, we can say anything, but the person with the correct intelligence information, I want to believe, is the president. And
So
here is the
he's a
president
big
telling
player.
us,
He's a big player in this journey.
yes, so here is the president telling us that because of A, B, C, D, I know this gentleman more than you. I worked with him. He was my deputy. And I'm saying, in as much as I had differences with my elder brother, and you know, but I think this is a safe bet for the country.
But let's be fair. No, before
yes.
you guys, let's
Yes.
be fair.
Yes.
These same politicians,
Yes.
we've seen them change script over time. Today they say this about Willie. The next day they say something totally different about
Yes.
the same person they say negative things about. So we cannot categorically say that script will
It's
stand.
necessarily right, yes.
Yeah?
Saf, let me
You
say
agree with me
something.
on that?
When you become a
Let's be
president,
honest.
I think there are guys there are guys who have specialized in character assassination, and that we have to believe, because you can remember when some gentlemen spoke actually openly that you, Raila, get it from us. We used to say this about you or against you in order to make you not to win the election. And they are the same people who are speaking about the sorts of corruption that has been. But let me tell you, I mean, the big question that this country is asking, my sister, is that who has not corrupted, not who is corrupt. Who is clean?
No,
I mean, that is the question.
Who is the lesser evil?
No. Which is a very unfortunate question to ask.
Because let me tell you, if you listen to the Thika kind of meeting, and even before we went to Thika, the Sakana 3, where the president actually emphasized that, you know what, talk about Kimware Dam, something that we have been hearing like hearsays. The IG himself has actually had cleared Ruto that he was not involved in any way. That this is the same corrupt practice that is being spoken of, one man with two people talking different things, yet they are in the same position of information. Now, what do you expect the local person, the Kenyan, the ordinary Kenyan, to know about what's up? If you listen what was said in Thika, it was a whole open Pandora of corruption and who is corrupt in this country. So in this case, to talk about a specific person that you are corrupt, I'm talking, this is the artwork of professionals who are now out to character assassinate Ruto, not to ascend to power. That is
Willie, as you come in,
yes.
When do we move on from this? Because from my understanding, this is a journey to the 2022 general election, where Kenyans are supposed to be making a decision on who is the best contender, who has their interest at heart, who is going to move Kenya forward. When do we move from this blame game of this one failed, this one is this way, this one? Because right now it's all about who failed and who is the best.
Yes.
In whose hands are we safe? I mean, those are the kind of narratives
big
here.
question,
When do we move from there and begin concentrating and focusing on the manifestos, looking at what these politicians who are coming out to interest us have for us as Kenyans?
All right.
When do we get to that space?
It can happen overnight in 2022, this coming election. And I'm saying that backed up by some scientific matters. Let me first say something. When you become a president, I want to believe you cease being a politician for 1 minute. You become a leader, because a legacy is not founded on politics. It is founded on leadership. 200 years from now, it shall be said President Uhuru Kenyatta Muigai was the 4th president of this country. And so what will happen with the generations then, they will narrow down him as a man. What did he do differently? No one will remember what he said in politics. No one will remember he said aliruka yangu kumi yake kuma. He'll just look at the kind of leadership he gave. And so I want to believe coming 2022 election that Raila, this is my honest opinion, Raila would be the best president for that legacy based on age. At 70-something, the man has seen it all. He has had it all. He has been there. He knows power. He understands power. He has had the money of politics. And so Raila is looking for his place in the Kenyan history. How will I be remembered by generations to come? And so when you become a leader, when you become a president and cease to be a politician, you pick a battle that will define your legacy. And so I want to believe Raila at his age will pick the battle of corruption as his legacy. if Raila at his age is able to bring down corruption in this country, because he will have nothing to lose, okay? He is above 70 years, so he wants just to be remembered. I want to believe Raila will pick corruption as his biggest challenge to handle in this country. William Ruto, on the other hand, will not do that. We have all agreed, let not William Ruto talk about corruption. We are in agreement.
Why?
Let him not talk about corruption.
Why shouldn't he talk about corruption?
I will tell you why.
Very big problem
I will tell you why.
And let Uhuru
not talk about corruption as Ruto would talk about corruption, or rather as Raila would talk about corruption. The president is on record saying that we lose 2 billion per day. Where does this money go to? Who steals this money? Let the man who has not been implicated in so much corruption cases, who is well advanced of age, lead this country at least for the next 5 years and handle this monster called corruption for us. And then maybe perhaps after 2022 to 2027, William Ruto will have seen the importance of a legacy, and then we can
have a conversation.
I think, my sister, this is I think Uhuru is leaving a legacy of having done excellently as far as the infrastructure is concerned. But he's leaving Kenyans more poorer than ever as far as the welfare of individual Kenyans are concerned. You hear people talking about high prices of so many goods. You hear people say that life has become unbearable. So in this case, I can be very categorical, my sister, to tell you that the person whom we need come 2022 is a very energetic person, a shrewd person, somebody who is capable mentally and physically to move Kenyans to the next level. I mean, this is not a theory. We are not talking about theories. You are talking about somebody, of course, that age where we are talking of Right Honorable Raila, I can say he's a super leader as at that age. But when you talk about that age, of course, you talk about people who may actually captivate him. He may be put under captive by those people who are actually behind him. The so-called who are jostling, having the interest, having Raila on board, is because they know they will have a space to do their own things, the things that they have been doing.
Joe Biden is
you guys have had your say. You guys have ruling
as we speak.
Allow me moderate this conversation. Amondi, there's something. Yes. I wanted to speak on behalf of Wananchi. These ones, I will leave you guys out. Yes. I mean, what is it that is our interest here, and how best can it be served? Politicians will come with their own narratives. They've told us who they think should be president. But
let me tell you, honestly speaking, I want to believe that what we need as a country are systems that work. If systems are working, it would not really matter who is the president. In fact, in the American system, the other day they had the maverick Donald Trump as the president. But however queer Donald Trump is, the thing is, the American system is strong and safeguarded. If our systems were working, if the EACC was working, DPP was working, I mean, you'd find corruption cases being dealt with very fast. I'm talking of the real corruption in terms of mega scandals. It would really not be so much about the politics of the day deciding who should be taken to court and who should be, So that the question that you then need to ask ourselves is, of the presidential aspirants between William Ruto and Raila Odinga, who would you trust to be the person that would ensure that systems would work? Now, that will be my point of departure in terms of, whether William Ruto would be the best candidate for president. And why do I say so? If you look at the bottoms-up approach which he does propagate, it's so much about handouts. It's so much about the big man's syndrome. I mean, you have the money, then you distribute it to the ground. If you look at the old man's system, like Uhuru calls Raila Odinga, he talks of the BBI, which in as much as it will not be in place by the time, I want to believe so from a legal standpoint, by the time we'll be going to elections, but where you can domesticate the principles in the BBI For example, a very basic one, when you increase finances to the counties, from the so-called minimum threshold of 15 to at least 35, and you ensure that you actually do it, and then you ensure that that money in the counties is utilized well, so that, for example, if in the end of the day, Kisumu County, for example, receives from World Bank and the county government in 4 years 100 billion shillings, and ensure it works. Honestly speaking, I don't see the reason as to why people who come from Kisumu County would need to come to Nairobi to do business.
All right, gentlemen, I'm really... We've run out of time for this. I wish you could have more, but you know, we always just put a comma. We are on this road to the 2022 general election, so we'll be picking it up. I just want you to I want to give you 30 seconds each for that burning issue. I don't want you to go with it as your final remarks. I'll start with you, Dr. Rotich, your final remarks.
I think, my sister, this is what I want to tell Kenyans. And the IPC, we have our eyes on IPC to perform their work and perform it perfectly. That is our hope. The election contest must be managed according to the Constitution.
All right.
We want to see an election that will be very free, that will be very fair to all the Kenyans, that we can assure peace after this election.
Thank you so much. Willie?
It's going to be a very heated contest between Raila and Ruto and the president. But of importance is that this nation must remain intact. We are our brothers and sisters keeper, so we must not burn this nation at the expense of politics. And also, allow me to say this one thing before
time is really out.
There is a lady who said she's a big fan of yours, and she's vying in Kiambaa. Her name is Honorable Damaris Oigajo. And she actually told me, Ebu tell Saf, anipatie interview because I'm a big fan of her. So if you're watching Damaris, nimefikisha ujumbe.
We will have that conversation after the show. Amondi.
I think just to emphasize what my colleagues have said, in the end of the day, Kenya remains Kenya.
Amen.
Kenya is greater than all of us. So let's have a peaceful election. We hope IEBC will do their job. We have a free and fair election. Whoever wins in the end of the day, we say heko, and we proceed with our lives.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And greetings to Damaris. Damaris, you said?
Yes, yes.
Pokea salamu, Damaris. Thank you so much, and all of you who create time every week to catch News Check. We appreciate it. We do not take it for granted. Gentlemen, thank you for your time. Ken Amondi, lawyer, Willie Kamau, political analyst, and Joseph Rotich, also political analyst. Thank you. We are going to be crossing over to something that you're also following up for you, the Public Service Commission, which is collaborating with the Emerging Public Leaders from USA and Emerging Leaders Foundation from right here in Africa, are officially inaugurating the first cohort of the Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program at KICC this particular morning. We are just going to be covering that particular function for you live right here on Channel 1. So we cross over to that. But for us, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for creating time for us this morning. Once again, have a lovely day.
Amen. Thank you so much.
Huyu mtoto sitaki atoke kwa hii nyumba bila ya ruhusa yangu.
Mimi lakini mbona umenuna? Kunja papenda.
Muona babake Maya?
Sasa huyu amkuja kutugombeza sisi kuhusu Bingu. Yeye ndo amelala na yeye ama ni sisi?
I need you to testify.
Sorry, I cannot do it. Usipoishughulikia upesi itakuua.
Because we are Dynasty! We accept your challenge, but there's one stipulation. This match is going to be a ladder match. It's the most dangerous, the most deadly style of match in wrestling. I think that it's time that we give Brian Pillman Jr. the chance to shine. I want to give him this opportunity to be in this match.
I'll make the Hart family proud, and I'll make my father proud.
Kujisumbua na tangawizi ambao haitakufaa na lolote.
Nakuwa unapata sauti yako Sasa utanisikiza au?
Korogwe na watu.
Ukisema watu unamaanisha nini?
Uko sawa wakili? Nimeshakuona Keti amekuingiza box.
Hivyo naweza kugundua kwamba huyu mtoto anaweza kuwa wetu. Mimi na wewe.
Hello viewer, good morning. My name is Beatrice Getonyang'etich. I'm coming live to you from Kenya International Convention Center, where Public Service Commission together with Emerging Public Leaders and Emerging Leaders Foundation are inaugurating the first cohort of service, public service leaders who will be going for training. And today that inauguration is happening here. And to tell us more about this function that is being led by former Liberia President Sir Salif Johnson, Ellen Johnson Salif, is Dr. Sylvester Obongo, who is here with me, Director of Performance and Service Delivery, Transformation Public Service Commission, just to tell us more about the event this morning. Welcome to KBC Channel 1, and tell us more about the function and the inauguration of the first cohort of this fellowship program and what it means to the public service sector.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. The inauguration of the first cohort of the public service emerging leaders means a lot to us. One, any organization worth its salt should be able to systematically develop its leadership for the future. What we are doing is actually developing a pipeline of leaders. We thought as a public service that we need to deliberately choose from among the entry graduates those who we can systematically develop into being ethical, into knowing what public sector service methods and systems are, and then also developing them to be ethical and adhere to the principles and values of citizen-centric service delivery.
The first cohort, how many are they? What was the criteria that was used to pick these people? And are they currently in the public service?
Yeah, the first cohort, we are recruiting purely from those who have served for less than 1 year. We placed the adverts for the intake in November last year. We had about 5,000 applicants. But because we are only focusing on public servants, we had about 3,200 applicants from the private sector. We therefore locked those ones out. Out of the 5,000 applicants, 3,000 were therefore from the private sector. Another 1,200, about 1,200 were actually did not complete the essay. Among the qualifications that we needed, a 500-word essay. So about 1,200 did not do the essay. So we also knocked them out. We are therefore remaining with about 733 who completed the essays and who met the minimum qualifications. Out of the 733 that we had, we shortlisted 164 candidates. The 164 candidates we shortlisted, we therefore took through interview the process. From the 164, we chose the 50. They represent every county, so we took the best from every county. And in this intake, unlike a minimum threshold of a third of each gender, we actually initially took 50-50. So 25 were ladies, 25 were men. But because there was a candidate we called and we did not get, so we called him for 1 week, we couldn't get him. So we could not confirm his entry. We replaced him. He was a gentleman from Uasin Gishu. So we ended up replacing him with a lady from Uasin Gishu. Subsequently, he appeared on the last day. So we had to take him in and we had replaced him. So we now have 51. Out of the 51, we have 27 ladies and 24 men.
Have we had similar programs in the Public Service Commission? And is this different, and how different is it?
This is different. We are systematically developing leaders. The internship program we have, which targets direct graduates, are not people who have actually entered the public service. So we don't assure them position in the public service, although some of them transition to public service, but that's not the intention. The intention of the internship program is to build their networks, is to give them industry experience, and to also expose them to public service systems. So we are just giving them industry experience and also exposing them to networks. But the emerging public leaders are people who have joined the public service. They are public servants. We are therefore nurturing them. We are therefore mentoring them. We are therefore coaching them to assume leadership positions in the future in the public service.
Thank you very much. Maybe the last question, for how long is the program?
The fellowship program is for 1 year. The fellowship program is for 1 year, but it's divided into 6 segments. The first segment focuses on the induction, which is a general introduction. The second segment will focus on citizen-centric service delivery. The third segment will focus on leadership, and the fourth segment focuses on I think analytical skills. We have a capstone which takes them through a case study, and eventually we hope the last segment will be evaluating what they have learned throughout this journey.
Thank you very much, Mr. Obongo, for taking us through the program today and what this program is all about. So, viewer, I take you straight to the event of the inauguration of the first cohort of public service leaders, emerging leaders, that is happening here at KICC, being hosted, or we are expecting a keynote speech from former Liberia President, Her Excellency Salif, Madam Salif. So let's go to the event.
This team that we have here today, the 50 fellows, represent the entire corners of this country. And so that we can show by example, we are not talking about 1/3 rule. We went to half. We are 50-50, meaning we can do it all together for this country. And we've also done, not adding 5% of the people living with disability, we did the 5% already with the very first cohort. So this is an all-inclusive 50 young men and women who are ready to take this country to another level. With these few remarks, Your Excellency, I have this honor of asking one of the fellows to come and give your heart out what you feel. And if the program is this bad, we cancel it here and now. But if it is, come forward, let us hear it.
Your Excellency, former President of Liberia and a co-chair of the Emerging Public Service Global, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Head of Public Service Kenya, Head of Public Service Ghana, partners of the Public Service Emerging Fellowship Program, and all other protocols observed, good morning. I thank God for this program. I thank God for this day. My name is Lynette Opete Kafaso. I'm a Human Resource Management and Development Officer at the Ministry of Labor, and I am an emerging leader from Siaya County. It's a great honor and a rare opportunity to stand before you today, not only as a woman, but also as a representative of the inaugural cohort of Public Service Emerging Leaders Fellowship 2022. This program seeks to create future leaders in myself and my fellow fellows, leaders who are value-based and ethical, leaders who are willing and ready to go beyond the call of service, leaders who understand that public service is about providing service and delivering service to the citizens of Kenya on a silver platter. To the inaugural cohort, whoever much is given, much is expected. We have a greater task ahead of us and a duty to demonstrate value and give our partners a reason to keep investing on this noble cause. To you, Your Excellency, former President, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, on behalf of women in Kenya, on behalf of women in Africa, today I stand before you and I say thank you for breaking the glass ceiling. For women leadership in Kenya. To the partners, Public Service Commission, the Emerging Public Leaders, Emerging Leaders Foundation, the Chandler Institute of Governance, on behalf of the inaugural cohort 2021, we say thank you.
Thank you so much. It is indeed evident that the program is instilling critical knowledge relating to values and principles of public service, systems, and the methods of public service leadership skills. So thank you so much on behalf of all the other cohorts. Pongezi sana. Your Excellency, allow me to bring on board the PSC choir, the Public Service Commission choir, to give us the theme song, the Public Service Choir.
Twasherekea mikakati bora PSC, twasherekea mipango bora PSC, twasherekea tume ya utumishi wa umma kwa wajali wa Kenya, twasherekea mikakati bora PSC, twasherekea mipango bora PSC, twasherekea tume ya utumishi wa umma kwa wajali wa Kenya. twasema pokera APLAEL, ishara kwamba juhudi zenu za kuboresha maisha ya vijana kwa wadau wote, ishara kwamba inasonga mbele, twasherekea mikakati bora PS, twasherekea mipango bora PS, twasherekea tume ya utumishi wa umma kwa kuwajali wa Kenya, twasherekea mikakati bora PS, twasherekea mipango bora PS, twasherekea tume ya utumishi